Okay, so in Korea, there are vocal trainers who claim that mixed voice is a weak sound, that powerful and skilled singers do not use mixed voice, and even that mixed voice is kind of same as falsetto. What do you think about this?
Okay, let me make sure I understand the question. So they're saying that the mixed voice is weak,
Yeah,
and it sounds like falsetto.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's because they haven't trained the mixed voice yet. So
Mhm.
a weak mixed voice would sound like falsetto.
Yeah.
But a well-trained mixed voice will sound very, very, very strong. So if the mixed voice isn't trained well and it's poorly trained, then it can sound like a falsetto voice. So I would agree with them if it's not well trained. Oftentimes what will happen is the chest voice will be trained too heavy, and so the mixed voice then becomes, or taken up too far, and so the mixed voice doesn't have a chance to develop well at the top of the chest voice because the chest voice has been taken up too high. And so the mixed voice can be too weak at that transition where it should have been brought in sooner. And so that transition area can be very, very weak in the mixed voice. So in that sense, in that area, it can be weak. But if the chest voice is brought down and the mixed voice is trained at the top of the chest voice where it should be trained, then the mix can become very, very, very strong. So that's probably where that's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's poorly trained, then it can sound very, very weak. I would agree with them.
Yeah.
But if it's well trained, then they're incorrect. It can be very, very strong. We have hundreds of examples of singers who sound very strong in a good, well-balanced mix.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
So yeah, the follow-up question is, once a singer can smoothly connect chest and head voice, how can they further develop and strengthen their mixed voice is our next question.
Repeated exercises, finding repertoire material, songs that are appropriate for their level of singing, and building slowly. And when I say slowly, I mean not trying to be too loud before the vocal cords can withstand the pressure too quickly. Over time, that's the best way to build the mix. Sometimes it takes years to develop a good, strong mixed voice. It doesn't happen quickly. Very, very seldom do we find the mix happens quickly with singers, unless it's a rare talent. But with many people, it can take 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, even 10 years to develop a good, strong, balanced, powerful mix.
Yeah, so it depends on the singers.
It depends on the singer. It depends on the talent and the skill. It also depends on the gift of the singer. Some singers are built to have bigger voices, and some singers are built to have smaller voices. So a well-balanced voice does not necessarily mean a big voice. Some voices are built to be big, and some voices are built to be medium-sized, and some voices are built to be small voices. Kristen Chenoweth, who's one of America's best musical theater singers, she's a coloratura singer. She's got a very, very high voice, but she doesn't have a very big voice. It's not a big voice. It's a high voice, but it's not very thick. It's not very powerful. But she's got other qualities to her voice that make her a very, very marketable and interesting voice.
So I heard. So do you work with Imagine Dragons and Benson, Boone? So those singers apparently they are using the singing power and some of the Broadway baritone. So why do you train these strong voice singers in head voice, which is often considered a lighter or weaker sound?
So you asked if I train Imagine Dragons, Dan Reynolds, and Benson Boone, who I train both of them.
Yeah, all those singers sing with a very powerful voice with high notes, but
Dan Reynolds does not have a high voice.
Mm-hmm.
He has a lower voice than Benson Boone.
Yeah.
Benson Boone has a much easier facility in his high notes than Dan Reynolds does with Imagine Dragons.
Yeah.
Benson Boone has a more balanced voice. He has an easier facility in his higher notes. He also has a better balanced voice than Dan. Dan's voice is a little bit more rock heavy, a little bit more yelly, and Benson's voice is a little more pop, a little bit better control. They're both fantastic singers. They have great careers. Dan's voice is a little more dangerous. He gets in a little more trouble with his voice, but his voice is a little more interesting. His voice is a little bit more on the edge, a little, like I said, a little more dangerous. But he gets in a little more trouble with his voice. So he doesn't necessarily do everything he's supposed to be doing with his voice, and therefore he has some issues with his voice once in a while.
So the question was so he also hit the B4 like so that with a powerful voice, and the Benson also seemed very power, and there's some characters you tell. So the question is, you're always emphasize the importance of the head voice. So why all those powerful singers, they have to train with the head voice, which is the little bit weak, the softer kind of quality?
Because it's the opposite timbre of the built-in stronger sound, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because they write their music up at, A4, B4, C5, and above, so we have to train their voices about a fourth higher than they're singing. So we train them up to E5, F5, so that they can sing B4, C5, C sharp 5, because that's where they're performing. They're singing up that high. So we work them in their head voice, their mixed voice up to those ranges all the time. We train them up there. Yeah. So it's not, I would not call that necessarily pure head voice. I would call that a mixed voice up there, because they're combining the chest voice and the head voice up there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's that kind of, that edgier kind of sound up there. It's not head voice, which if you're talking about pure head voice, I would say that's more falsetto. But they're in a mixed voice because it sounds like it's got some more chest in it. It's got some more meat on it. It's not so light and airy up there. We may have them do those really, really hooty sounds in a vocalese, but they're not singing with that. They're just releasing up there to get the feeling of freedom when they're doing their vocaleses. But when they're performing, they're using much, much more meat, much more edge and lean on their voices up there when they're performing.
So you said you're training their ranges as fourth.
At least a fourth higher than they have to perform.
So that's because of to earn more headroom,
they need more headroom. They need to be well above where they're performing. And I always train my singers at least a fourth higher than they need to perform.
Higher.
Yeah. So that if we only vocalize them to the highest note they have to sing, when they hit that high, if they're singing a high A, and then when they hit that in the performance, they're going to always feel like they're at the very, very, very top of their range, which they should never feel like when they're performing.
Do you think because the sound that they're using during their performance is different compared with the fourth higher training voice?
Yes, because it's much, much lighter that high. We don't take that edginess up all the way to, like, for example, E5 or F5. It's usually quite a bit higher. Sometimes we have a little bit of lean on it, but it's not like they're doing it B or B flat 4. We're not taking that edginess up that high. Very seldom.
The reason why we're asking this is there's a singer who wants to sing like them, so like a very singing power. But when we just talk about the importance of the head voice, but they don't like it because that's
too
very
light.
weak. And even the teachers. Some singing teachers, they claim those weak sound, that's not for powerful, the thing is power, so that cannot be usable on the stage like that.
So you have to give them an exercise that they're going to apply in their performance, right? So if we have somebody do all day long, they're not going to use that.
Yeah.
So you have to give them something they can apply in their actual performance, and they're not going to sing hootiness all day long.
Yeah.
But we give them that exercise to feel the release, and then we have to connect it back up to the chest voice at some point. That's where the mixing process comes in.
Nice.
The audience has to feel like it's chest voice. The audience needs to feel like they're belting straight, raw chest. If you're a rock singer, the audience has to feel like they're yelling their guts out, like they're screaming their guts out. That's what the audience expects out of a rock singer. Not out of musical theater or opera or even pop. But as a rock singer, the audience wants to feel like they're just ripping their guts out singing raw, straight chest voice. They're not, but that's what the audience expects. So if you only have them go, ooh, they're never going to have a career. They're never going to be a rock singer.
Yeah.
Imagine Dragons, The Killers, Panic at the Disco, Journey, any famous rock, Bohemian Rhapsody, singing Queen, any of those, they sound like they're just, like it's got all that meat on it. That's what the audiences love. They're not. They're all singing in a mix. All those singers were beautiful, beautiful mixers. They're all mixing, but they sound like they're, right? The audience love that because it feels like they're giving everything they have to the audience when they're not. They're just singing with this beautiful mix. But the audience perceives it as if they're giving everything they have. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's the best answer we want to hear.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you have to fool the audience. You have to fool the audience
Yeah.
that they're getting 100% of the vocal cords. They're not. They're doing nothing. It's just But the audience thinks, they're just so committed. They're giving me everything. And the singer's going da da da, like they're doing nothing.
Mhm.
And that's not the case with all of my singers. Some of my singers are giving way, way, way too much. They're pushing too hard. They're spending too much of their vocal currency. They shouldn't be giving as much as they're giving. But the good ones do not do that. The good ones do not do that. Sometimes they're not always behaving like they should be behaving. So